Hi, this is Jorge. I am the head coach at E3 Training Solutions. In this quick video, I am going to teach you how to do a field test in order to determine your training and racing paces and help you guide your training. But before we get to that, I remind you that it would be useful if you check some of our past videos that you can find it on our YouTube channel in order to better understand some of the concepts discussed here. Specifically to using field testing to determine your run, training, and racing paces, at E3 we use two types of methods. The first one is what's called a critical velocity model, which is discussed in one of the videos mentioned previously, and you need to do some maximal efforts and then use the model to determine this. Basically, you need two or more efforts. We usually recommend two. One short that should be longer than 3 minutes, and a longer one that should be up to 30 minutes long. Specifically to the tests that we do at E3, we use two. One that is between 4.5 minutes and 7 minutes in duration, which depending on the speed of the athlete might be roughly 1600 meters plus minus. And another longer, which should be between 15 and 25 minutes in duration, which again, depending on the speed of the runner, might be around 3200 to 5k meters in duration. You can do this either at a track, or you might be able to do this also on the road using a GPS watch or one of the mapping tools available online. You might be able to also do this on a treadmill. However, that can be tricky because sometimes they're not properly calibrated, so the distance that you get might be a little bit off and they can throw the results. Remember that in spite of the number of maximal efforts that you choose to do, in our case doing two, both have to be maximal, meaning you have to give everything you have. Also for both, you will need to record the distance and the duration as accurate as possible. We recommend to do this testing on different days so you can actually produce a maximal effort, have a couple of days of rest in between, and then test again. So let's assume you're going to do this test at the tracks. On day one, you chose to do the shorter test. In this case would be the 1600 meters. And here I am ready to run. So what you're going to do is you're going to do maximal effort, meaning you're going to run as hard as you can. You're going to do this for the entire 4 laps, and you're going to time how long it takes you to cover the distance. If you gave it all and it was a maximal effort indeed, you might actually look something like this. Let's say for my test, it actually took me 6 minutes to complete the 1600 meters. So I'm going to record that and save it as test 1. After you complete your test, you're going to let some days pass in between so you can completely rest and recover. Recommend at least 48 hours. And once you do that, then you can schedule your test number 2. So now you're ready for test number 2. After you've been rested for a few days and you're ready to push hard, here I am a red. I'm going to do the 5,000 meters in this particular case. So I'm going to run as hard as you can, and assuming I already completed the duration, then you're going to time how long it took you for everything. And because it was a maximal effort, I completely drained my tank and I left everything on the track. So let's assume the total test took me to complete around 20 minutes. So now I can take both results and use a critical velocity model to estimate what should be my training and racing paces. I take the duration it took me to complete each test and convert that into seconds. So for test 1, 6 minutes it's equal to 360 seconds. And for test number 2, 20 minutes equal to 1200 seconds. And then we just plug the numbers on the critical velocity formula, which is taking the distance of the longer test, in this case the 5,000 meters, minus the shorter distance for the second test, which was 1600 meters. And then we're going to divide that by the duration it took us the longer test, which is 1200 seconds, minus the duration of the shorter test, 360 seconds. The result would be 3,400 divided by 840. Which results in a critical velocity of 6 minutes and 38 seconds minutes per mile. But to make your life easier so you don't have to become a math major, just go to our website and just go to our calculators, click on Run Calculator, and enter your results. This will make your life way easier. So you just enter your data right here, and right here you'll see how you get all your training paces. So now every time that you go and do a different training run, then you know what different type of paces you should be able to sustain based on your current fitness level. The other cool thing about this is that now you can see what's your potential for different distances. For instance, if you're gonna run a marathon, then you know roughly what should be the pace that you should be able to maintain if you do the proper training. So this is telling you what's your potential. Also, you can check some other durations. If you do something like a 10K, or if you do something like a 5K or so forth. Your other option is to go and just do a race. Can be a 5K, a 10K, or any other distance. Preferably you want it longer than 3 minutes, shorter than 30 minutes. And you can use any of the online calculators. There's one by Jack Daniels, which is a recognized running coach. You just select what distance you did, enter your time, and then once you press calculate, then it's going to spit out all the paces for you. And that's it. That's the two types of field testing that we use at E3 in order to determine training paces. They're very simple to do, and you can do them on your own. In coming videos, I'll teach you how to better utilize all this information. Thank you.